Okay, so I'll be honest, I'm not very special. I'm not artistic, I'm not necessarily talented, and I'm not creative in any real way. But in the past 2 years, I have scaled what was initially just my hobby of playing video games into an actual coaching business. If you're new here, my name's Luke. I scaled a Rocket League coaching business to over $1 million a year annual run rate, and I have nothing to sell you. In this video, I want to talk about the #1 reason I think most people aren't successful making money online, and really the only reason that I think what I did actually worked. Now, there are sort of 3 levels to this idea that I'll be talking about in the video. So hopefully by the end of it, regardless of where you're at right now, you'll have something that you can actually follow and implement to make money online. So yeah, without any further wait, enjoy the video. There are 3 pieces to understanding this main idea, and the main idea is at the end, but if you skip to it, I promise this video won't have the same impact, and if you hear it first, it won't do the same thing for you. So first thing, for this blueprint, I'm gonna make a couple assumptions about you. So you're probably in a situation that looks something like this. You have some commitments during the day that you have to put, let's say, 8 hours into. You have school for 8 hours a day, you have work for 8 hours a day, something that takes up the majority of your time. Then you, of course, have 7 to 8 to 9, well, let's be honest, probably less sleep, which leaves, let's say, 8 hours a day to do work. If you are young and you're trying to make money online and you're trying to turn your side hustle into your main hustle, because likely that main thing that you do during the 8 hours of the day is not what's fulfilling you. It's not what's gonna make you successful. It's not what's making you happy. If that's you, you wanna put work into those empty 8 hours that you have in the day to one day roll over that side hustle into your main hustle. Now, how do you do that? What's the formula for success? My thesis is you only have to put 1 to 2 focused hours of work in per day in order to be successful. Now, here's the first problem, and here's the reason that most people can't get to this point. It's this right here. Most people get home from, work or school. They do an hour of video games here and there. They do an hour of scrolling on their phone. They check social media, then they go get dinner, then they lay down, they scroll on their phone a little bit more, and then they go to bed. And the problem with this is that because there are a bunch of micro distractions, you can't get to the 1 to 2 hours of deep work that you need every day. The key to success in anything in life is putting in an outsized amount of time on what the average person would put in. And that sounds stupid, but genuinely, that is the blueprint to getting whatever you want in life. It's not gonna take 2 to 4 hours. It's not gonna take 8 hours a day. You start putting in 8 hours a day once you're a professional and you're already at that level. At the start, it's 1 to 2 hours until you get to a certain point. Now, the reason I stress this so much is because if you don't buy into this and you believe that it takes something shiny, something special, that there's some X factor that you don't have, you will not become successful. Truly, you have to believe that it only takes 1 to 2 hours every day for a consistent amount of time to become successful. And if you believe this, and if you trust me, the funny thing is, the people who believe this are the ones who become successful. The people who believe they're in control become successful, and the people who blame it on outside circumstances or talent or think it takes something extra, those are the people who can't reach success. There's only one way to reach it, and it's by putting in a consistent amount of time. So you have to believe that it only takes 1 to 2 hours a day of putting in consistent effort at your side hustle to turn it into your main hustle and eventually get those crazy returns on your time. Go from 0 to 50 an hour to 100 an hour to 200, 300, 400, 500. Section number 2, time management. I heard something from Alex Becker once. I think it's the more advanced you get as an entrepreneur, the dumber you actually get. The more you watch these YouTube videos, the more you think success is all these different things. It's the morning routine into the cold shower, then do, a 30-minute guided meditation, and then get started with work. No, time management is not how to make a 7-column to-do list. It's how to eliminate all the bullshit that prevents you from getting to work. Let me say that again. Time management is not how many things you can do before getting to work. It's how little you can make the time between I have an idea, I want to execute something, I need to do something, I need to work on something, to I'm actually sat here typing, writing, doing whatever the work is. Genuinely, like my morning routine that has contributed to my whatever levels of success you want to call it, I wake up, I quickly shower, and then I go here, I grab one of these. It has like coffee mixed in and it's a protein shake. I drink this, and then I hit record or start writing a script or do something for the business, whatever the most meaningful task is that day. I just drink basically a cup of coffee and then work. Now this might sound simple, and it is simple, but it's not easy. And the problem is very, very few people understand how to actually get work done. What most people do, and what I see most people do in my college, for example, is they'll go sit down to do work. They'll do 15 minutes of work, then they'll check social media. Then they'll do 15 minutes of work, then they'll go to the bathroom or go get a snack. Then they'll do 15 minutes of work, and then they have to go get a coffee. And the problem is effectively getting work done doesn't happen on and off for 15 minutes. In order to get in the zone and to really get that productive time to create something like really impressive, all of the work gets done at the back half of the time you put in. If you sit down for an hour, you're cranking for those last 30 minutes. For the first like 15, 30, you're kind of going in and out of focus mode. And this is genuinely why people don't get stuff done, and they think they work for 4 hours and they really work for 20 minutes. It's just not getting into the zone and staying there. All this Pomodoro stuff where it's like work for 15, 20 minutes, off for 10. I don't know. I think it's a scam. It has never worked for me personally, so I'm just speaking from my truths here. I think genuinely what it takes is just putting your phone behind you and just eliminating all distractions. Sometimes, you know, when I just wake up in the morning and I have really strong willpower, I can just get straight to work, right? And I can just ignore everything and just get straight to work. But if it's like 3, 4 o'clock in the day, you know, do what you need to do to be able to get to that space where you could just focus for 1 or 2 hours. If you have to go to a coffee shop, fine. If that locks you in for an hour or two, do the coffee shop. If you have to go to a library and that locks you in for an hour or two, go to the library, whatever it is. But genuinely, the second thing you need to be able to do in order to become successful is just eliminate distractions. Eliminate those 15-minute ticks that kill your focus and reset you while you're trying to do something important. So you understand that you need to put 1 to 2 hours a day in, and you're setting up systems. That way you put your phone behind you, you've moved whatever you need to move to the side, and you're focusing for 1 to 2 hours a day on something. You're doing something that is contributing to your financial success, right? If you're doing this right, you're gonna slowly start to gain momentum. What is section 3, and how do you go from like a little bit of success, like maybe doing 15, 20 an hour, to 500 an hour? This is the purpose of this video. This is the thing that I think is most important in terms of becoming successful over all other things, and that is staying on one road, staying with one vehicle, continuing to pour your time into this one thing and not switching. The number one way that people destroy all their progress, and the reason that a lot of people don't become successful with their side hustles, is because they see something else. They see another shiny object. They see something else, you know, another opportunity. Let's say you're doing drop shipping, then you see Amazon FBA. Let's say you're doing some sort of service, you're doing graphics design, and then somebody tells you video editing is better. Every time you switch what you're focused on, you reset the success timer. And here's the most annoying thing about success. Success is like this. And so what happens is, once again, all the returns on your time is over here. It's in the back half, right? It's past this inflection point. And most people think this inflection point is after like 30 days. It's not after 30 days. I'm sorry. It's not even after 1 or 2 months. This inflection point is 6 months out for some people. For some people, it's 12 months out. It might take you 36 months of being consistent at something, at one thing, at one vehicle, in order for something to click, for the last piece to come together, and for all the results to shoot up. And you know this, like intuitively you know this, because you watch YouTubers who make videos for 3 years and then all of a sudden they blow up and now they're at, you know, 1 mil, 2 mil, 5 mil, 10 mil. You see musicians who do the same thing, who make a bunch of songs and then they have a breakout album. Or like business people who put all their time into one invention, into creating Tesla, into creating Facebook, into creating whatever. All of a sudden it takes off. But the problem is, it's not really all of a sudden. Like, none of it is ever all of the sudden. Usually it's a bunch of hiccups over here, and then ultimately it scales up. So I say all of this to say, the most important thing you do is you keep pushing your time into one vehicle. That way you don't reset your timer. You might be thinking to yourself, Luke, basically what you've told me is I need to put 1 to 2 hours a day in. I need to manage my time effectively, eliminate distractions, and I need to keep putting it into one specific thing. But wait, what if this one specific thing, this business idea, isn't the right thing? What if you put all your time to one thing and then after 2 years you have to reset? The one thing you put your time into at the end doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Anything works. Look, I scaled a business from 0 to 7 figures coaching Rocket League. That is coaching a video game. Something that on the surface, intrinsically, it would appear to have no value. But my belief and what I think I've learned doing this for the time I've done is that it doesn't matter what industry you're in, what niche you're in, what business you're in. If you're in it for long enough that it is unreasonable for you to not be successful, not be in the top 1% of that industry, there are rewards at the top of every industry. It doesn't matter what you do, because the people who put 1 to 2 hours a day into the industry for an extended amount of time and an actual focused 1 to 2 hours of that, because they eliminated the distractions that honestly keep 90% of people from succeeding, and then who go on to stay in that industry, those people get everything. They get all of the returns, and that is how they make $500 an hour, $1,000 an hour, $2K an hour. I heard something and it was like, how do you think Mark Zuckerberg made billions? He didn't become a billionaire by running Facebook and then starting his passive income side hustle and then doing real estate investing on the side and then doing this and that. He built Facebook. That's what he did, right? And that one thing gave him all the returns he's seen. The number one thing that's made me successful is emotional restraint and my ability to just say no and continue doing what I'm already doing. That's it. Ever since I started doing Rocket League coaching, 1 million people have come to me and said, why don't you start launching this product? Why don't you sell it for this price? Why don't you go sign a deal with this brand ambassador? Why don't you go pivot and do this? Why don't you start making these YouTube videos? Why don't you do this? Genuinely, becoming successful is doing one thing, generating that skill, and just continually reinvesting in it. And the moral of the story is, if you can stay on course, you will never fail because you never gave up, and the people who stay in the game the longest win. Anyways, those are my beliefs. I'm starting to get the sense, thinking back on this video now, that maybe I came across too strong and I'm acting like I know it all. I want to be clear, there are a lot more successful people in the world than me, and there are a lot more people in the world who know a lot more than I do. Probably you know more than I do. The only thing that I think I'm pretty good at doing right now is just staying on track. That's why I'm so passionate about sharing this. All jokes aside, like 99% of people are not subscribed to the channel. So if you want to purge your feed from distractions and start putting in videos that will actually help you, unsubscribe to the bad YouTubers, subscribe to me if you think I'm one of the good ones. And you can do the same. I post on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter are going to be my main 3 that I share this content on. So yeah, if that helped, leave a like, subscribe, do all that stuff. But as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace, guys.